Good morning and welcome to the show. I could set that timer for 10 minutes and it still wouldn't cover all the ads. I've currently got ads 7 of 8 showing up. Hi, Tony. So this morning, my guest is Papa J-Dub. He is not only a Twitch streamer, but he is an actor, writer, producer. So we are going to let's take a look at uh, some of what goes on Papa J Dub's streams. Um, Hopefully this will come up. Yeah, there we go.
We are steaming through these, man. Are you kidding me? This is amazing. This one is when things are going to slow down a little bit. It's a bit of a bigger map.
Hi, Jen.
We got Breaker Box under the stairs. I love that. That's my fave. Give us a sign, Carol. And last map, I just happened to see the orbs while we were walking. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's fucking go. No, no, you didn't. I'm fucked. I'm fucked. I'm fucked. Oh my God, Syntax, you piece of shit. Oh no, no, he's gonna get me. Come here, Autumn. Okay, bye. That doesn't count as like an event? Oh, fuck! Oh my God, that was just a fart. God. Oh my fucking God! I swear to God, if it was, it was.
It was. It had to be an Alyssa scare. So, without any further ado, please help me welcome to the show my guest, Papa J Dub.
God damn Alyssa, man. God damn Alyssa. It's not even fair. Like, if you have her in your audience and she's got access to Dixper, it's you're running up a steep hill. That hill is Everest during an avalanche. Like, you can't. Not even fair.
That's how you know she likes you. She starts.
Really?
Yeah, that's how you know.
I like you, stab. Ugh.
Yeah. You are a Canadian actor. You're from where are you from now?
Born and raised in Montreal.
Montreal. Okay. So I'm assuming that you are fluent in French.
Oui, je parle français très bien. C'est
Awesome.
mon deuxième langue. It's my second language.
Awesome. You and I have had some discussions about French words, like for instance, how to pronounce the word croissant.
Croissant?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm probably the only person in South Texas that says it like that.
Yeah, everyone else says crescent, croissant,
Crescent roll.
crescent, like a crescent.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah, those people are mistaken.
yeah, I've gone to donut shops and have asked for croissant rolls or croissant, and
They're like, what? What'd you say?
Like, you're the only person that says it like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I like to use the language correctly. My bad.
Yeah. Alyssa is masterful when it comes to dictionaries, as she is. She is.
Hi, Tony. Hey, Double Yolk.
How did you get your start in acting? How did that come about?
That started about a very, very long time ago. Oh boy, this can get pretty psychological. I don't know how deep we want to go. The basic story was my brother's best friend growing up. His name is Kenny Vadas, and he was a child actor in Montreal.
Mhm.
And he had been in television shows. He was in the movie, amongst others. He was in the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I always thought that was like super, super cool. And I was very impressionable, young, I think, also desperately seeking other people's approval and acceptance. And I wanted people to think, oh, that's so cool that you do that kind of stuff. Um, so that's kind of how I was introduced or found acting.
Mm-hmm.
And then this would have been at around, gosh, how old would I have been? Maybe like 8 or 9. And then at around like, I want to say 11, 12 years old, my parents put me into an acting class. And I remember this was called Kids in Action, and it was a local acting school. And at the end of the, I think it was like maybe a 2 or 3 month kind of session,
Mm-hmm.
we did these like plays for parents at the end, like a little showcase. Um, and I remember not remembering a single thing that happened. I remember like starting the showcase and then like blinked and it was over and I was like, what happened? I have no recollection of anything. I was so nervous. And then I didn't touch acting for another few years. And I think I kind of left it alone until I was around, I want to say, I think like 15 or 16 or whenever they first announced that they were going to be making a Lord of the Rings movie.
Mm-hmm.
So sometime at around probably around 1999, so maybe even 13, 14. Um and yeah, at that point I saw the just what people were saying about it online and how they were going to be filming in New Zealand and they were going to be announcing the cast and this was going to be an endeavor that would take place over the course of 18 months. And I remember thinking like, holy shit, like most movies are shot over the course of 8 weeks, 2 months, sometimes three.
Right.
Um, and just the idea that there were opportunities like that where people could go to this magical place and create this kind of this set family and move their entire lives over there and experience this kind of grand adventure both on set and wherever they were living and the life they were experiencing there. I was like, this is something really unique and special. And I think I was just on my way out of high school. And in Quebec we have this thing called cégep,
Mm-hmm.
which is this kind of intermediary between high school and university. So we graduate high school at grade 11, and then we do 2 years of cégep, which is like a kindergarten to university. It's basically like a daycare university where no one really knows what you're doing and it doesn't matter. You get to explore fields for a
Okay.
little bit until you figure out what you really want to do and apply for university.
Right.
And then university is only 3 years. So I kind of at a crossroads at that point where, I had been accepted into sciences at a few of the CEGEPs, and I had always wanted to be a surgeon. I wanted to be a doctor. That was like my first thing. But I also wanted to be an actor, and friends and family were always like, oh yeah, it's great that you want to be an actor. I think that's really really sweet. But maybe do something before that, and acting could be like a thing on the side, or like do acting, but make sure you have a backup plan.
Right.
And every time I heard that, it was just more fuel to the fire. It was
Yeah.
just like, fuck you guys. I'm gonna prove you all wrong. Thank you for giving me a little fire under my ass.
Right.
So I actually ended up starting SAGEP in sciences, and then about a month and a half in, I just had this kind of this this anxiety, this panic attack, this kind of like very, very early quarter life crisis
Mm-hmm.
where I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm pursuing this thing knowing that there's something else that I really want to be doing, even though having any kind of success in this field is next to impossible. I mean, not even 1%. Not even like 0.01% of actors who are out there can afford to do what they do for a living because
Right.
it's so hard, it's so competitive. There's so few work opportunities compared to the number of actors and artists out there.
Mm-hmm.
But it just it hit me like a freight train, and I remember having this massive panic attack at home. And I started crying, and my mom came home early from work, and I just had it out, and I said like I can't pretend anymore that I don't want to do this, and I know it's going to be impossible, and I know you guys may not support it, and that kills me, but I have to do this thing.
Yeah.
Like I have to do this thing because there's going to be too many what ifs if I don't.
Yeah.
So I ended up dropping out of sciences and switched to the theater program. And they were at the time they'd already cast the play because I got there late, and they were doing Pride and Prejudice. and they were still having a hard time casting their Mr. Darcy. I didn't end up playing that part, but that was kind of my like long introduction going into acting, going away from it, and then finding it again. Um, and then as soon as I started, I just went full nosedive right into it. I started taking like every acting class that was available to me, workshops, intensives. When people would come to town to teach like the Meisner technique or Strasberg, I would jump on it and I would do that for weeks and months and years. Um, and then when I was, I think, 18 or 19, after doing a couple of plays in Sajep, I approached, or I had done, I was working on a student film
Hmm.
that there was a casting for, and I got the lead of that film, and my co-star had an agent, and I was like, "You've got an agent?" Like I've heard those actors like, "Oh yeah, talk to my agent." I'm like, an agent seems like the gatekeeper to the industry. Like, how did you get that? How can I get one too?
Yeah.
So she introduced me to her agent, which unfortunately she's no longer with us. She passed away a couple years ago. Her name was
Mm.
Susan Glenn.
Her
Her
daughter
daughter
Chelsea.
Chelsea now runs the agency and is my agent. But I did a couple of plays. I did that short film, and then I approached Susan and I said, this is what I want to do. I showed her some demo material that I put together, clips from various student films, things that I'd done on my own, and then clips from plays. And she was just like, "Yeah, okay, sounds good. Let's send you out for auditions and see how you do." And yeah, the rest is basically history. I started auditioning. It took about a year and a half for me to get my first gig. And it's a bit of a catch-22 when you're working in an industry that has unions,
Hmm.
because as a non-union actor, you can only book a role in a union show if the producers of that show have shown the union that we've auditioned X number of union actors and none of these people quite meet the criteria we're looking for. But since we've auditioned those X number of actors, which is required from us, there's one non union actor who we really think would be good for the part. And we would recommend that he get a work permit.
Hmm.
So it's essentially you pay $250 or some nominal fee, and that gives this non-union actor permission to work on a union show, thus introducing you into the union, you becoming an actor apprentice. And then once you accumulate, at the time it was, I had to do, I think, 6 credits of 6 gigs,
Hmm.
you become full member. And then, more auditions become available to you. You can audition for commercials. There's just a slew of other things that you can do. And yeah, that was my sort of trajectory into the world of acting.
Yeah. What are some projects you've worked on?
Oh boy, let me get my IMDb open. Because they're honestly, like, between film, TV, voice, video games, commercials, it and it spans over such a long period of time that sometimes you forget what you've done. Not that I've done a crazy amount of work. It's just it's hard to remember sometimes.
Right.
When I go back, the very first television show I did was it was called, where is it? It was called, where is it? It was basically like a, why isn't it there? I wish for Alex. No, it was, what's it called? It was basically like a Canadian version of Punked.
Hmm.
So it was hidden camera show. Uh, you only had one take. Anything can happen, and there was one person being pranked, essentially. God, what was the name of that show? Canadian Punked. I can't even remember it now. No idea. Not a clue. I don't remember. But that was my very first television show, and then after that, I worked on um, TV movies, movies of the week. I did a TV show called 18 to Life. I had a small part in that. I had a very small part. Montreal was quite a hub for um, big budget films being shot here
Hmm.
because there was a lot of tax credits available. We also had some locations that are very reminiscent of like European cities and
Hmm.
stuff like that. We have the Old Port of Montreal, which is a great location for a lot of like period stuff. So a lot of the big films, like for example, I had a very tiny role in a movie called Beastly
many years ago, um, which had like Vanessa Hudgens. I think Neil Patrick Harris was in it. A couple of other big names. The Olsen, one of the Olsen twins.
Hmm.
Whenever that happens, like they cast all the major roles to fill the seats, and then whatever roles, whatever small actor roles are left over, will go to the local talent.
Okay.
So I for quite a few years I worked on a lot of like the bigger budget Hollywood movies. Getting those really small roles, for some reason I just had a knack at booking them. You know, there were only a couple of lines, so a lot of those came my way. Um, I worked on the Factory with John Cusack, Warm Bodies with Nicholas Holt, and a slew of other incredible talent. Pawn Sacrifice with Toby Maguire. I mean, Man Seeking Woman with Jay Baruchel, 192, which was like a television procedural, cop procedural show.
Yeah.
Um, and then, you know, obviously the project people know me for most, especially on Twitch and the Twitch community, is a game, Watch Dogs 2,
Hmm.
which still to this day has been the greatest experience of my life, and has allowed me to meet just a ton of people, including yourself. You know, that none of this would have happened if it hadn't been for Watch Dogs 2. So
Okay. Well, that's a great kind of a segue into how you got started with Twitch. Did that come about from your acting career, or was that something that just came about organically on its own?
So I've been a gamer, like an avid gamer, my entire life.
Hmm.
Um, I Two of my closest real life friends I met literally through gaming online. They turned out to be people who actually lived in Montreal. One in Montreal, one in Ontario, and we developed like real strong relationships and friendships. And so gaming has always been like a really big part of my life growing up and in my adulthood as
Hmm.
well. And in 2010, I want to say, I played this game called Tribes Ascend, which is like a first person shooter, capture the flag, fast movement, just an incredible game. And I met my like online gaming friends, whom to this day I still hang out with on a daily basis. Through them, I learned a little bit more about the internet culture. I discovered Twitch. For a long time, I didn't think much of it. I didn't really get it. I didn't understand the idea of just wanting to spend your time sitting there and watching someone else play a game,
Hmm.
even though I grew up with an older brother and did exactly that. Um, but it didn't appeal to me at the time. And then right after we finished doing Watch Dogs 2, I I started to go onto Twitch to because I was genuinely curious to see like what people thought about the game.
Mm.
So I would visit people's channels who were playing the game and just try to like suss out like what they thought, what they felt about the game. Um, and then the wheels kind of started to turn a little bit. And I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Like, I'm an actor. I have a lot of free time on my hands when I'm not working. And Twitch would be a wonderful way for me to spend the time I have to grow something of my own, start my own brand, have a platform that no one else has to say you're hired to show
Right.
up for work. It could be my own, it could be my precious. Um, but still, then I wasn't quite sure that I wanted to do it until the pandemic came around.
Yeah.
COVID started, and there was no work. Studios were shut down, recording studios were shut down,
Hmm.
projects were gone, TV shows were done. And yeah, it was just kind of an opportunity to, you know, get on the computer. And I'm like, listen, if I'm feeling incredibly isolated, if I'm feeling really lonely, if I'm desperately needing to find someone to fill my time, like there's got to be millions of other people out there looking for just a place to hang,
Hmm.
a place to just spend time and have a community. So that was really the catalyst. I think the pandemic just gave me the kick in the butt I needed to actually try and investigate, like what OBS is, like how do you set this kind of stuff up, like when you go live, like how are people going to find you, what are you going to do when you when you play games? Are you gonna how do you keep up with chat while you play games at the same time? And all of it was like this brand new experience. And when you're not going to school or when you're not in a job, there are very few avenues for you to explore brand new things in your life
Hmm.
the way you used to do as a kid. Like you're trying out a new sport or you're joining this club.
Right.
There's not a lot of ways to like start something completely new where you have no idea what you're doing. And this was that. So I was like super excited about that aspect of like, oh shit, okay, I'll be able to like hook up some microphones and I'll be able to do this with I'll add some lighting and then I'll use my computer to have people join me while I play games. And it's gonna be this new exploration. Um, and that's really kind of how I found out about Twitch. And fortunately, very fortunately for me, I was able to have when I started streaming because of Watch Dogs 2, I was able to use that
Mm.
as a platform for people to be able to find me.
Yeah.
So when I first started streaming, 5 people would come, 10 people would come, 15, 20. Um, Eventually it became like 30, 35, 40 people. And then over time, once people got to know like, okay, now that I've met Josh from Watch Dogs 2, the number started to go down. The honeymoon phase was over. And I was just left with like, okay, my numbers aren't great. They're going down. People maybe are not interested. Like, am I doing something valuable? Is it worthwhile if no one's wanting to stick around?
Mm.
And at the end of the day, I was like, I'm doing this for myself. I've
Yeah.
got it. This has to be for me first. And once I figured that out, my attitude of Twitch changed, how I approach it changed.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah.
I do this for myself because it brings me joy, and as long as that's the goal, there's nothing that can kind of lead me astray.
Yeah. Yeah. The aspect that the fact that people can become their own studio on here and to put out content that they enjoy, and regardless of how many people are viewing it, if they're taking enjoyment out of it, that's all that matters. If I found that when I turned my viewer count off,
Yeah,
it changes how my attitude towards streaming is.
totally.
Um, you're you're not focused on, oh, okay, how many people are watching me. That's
Oh
unimportant.
yeah,
That's unimportant. What's important is, are you gonna play a game anyway? Then stream it, and then
yeah,
that way, if somebody comes in and says hi or whatever, you've gained one more person that you can consider a friend possibly. Yeah, turning off viewer count helps. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't at first. I had that viewer count as one of my overlays, and I kept, like a ticker, like the dopamine hit you get when someone thumbs up your post on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. Like you keep finding yourself checking it, and when it's good, you feel great. When it's bad, you feel terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not going to lead to a good place.
Right.
How does one navigate that? How does one ignore that and still have a good time? Just stop paying attention.
Yeah. Stop paying
Just
attention to it. Yeah.
stop paying attention.
And I've gone into so many streams where somebody is, I've I search out people with low viewer counts, and I seek out games that I enjoy watching. So I'll pop into somebody that's streaming Phasmophobia with, one or two viewers,
Yeah.
and you'll come in and you'll watch them, and they'll be like looking at the viewer count number. You can see their eyes darting down towards that viewer number, and all of a sudden you say
Yeah, I've
hi.
got that disabled on my OBS. It doesn't say it now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you say hi, and all of a sudden their demeanor changes. They're like, all of a sudden they're performing.
Like, okay, it's time to be on now. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
How can I be interesting?
Number watching is more detrimental than anything. It is. It really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're out there and if you like streaming because you like streaming, then do that. Hi,
Yeah.
Alyssa. They
Oh
got it.
God. It's
They
okay. Dixper's off. We're good.
Dixper's off. We don't have to.
We're good.
Yeah.
Hi, least.
So yeah, if you like streaming, if you like playing games, do it.
Yeah.
And turn that viewer count off. Don't care. Don't don't mind how many people are watching or not watching.
Yeah.
Do it because you enjoy the game that you're playing, and you know you'll find that your attitude changes.
Yeah, and doing that is the thing that makes you attractive.
Yeah,
Like people who are themselves, who are not putting on a show, who are just being openly them, people can associate with that, and it's an attractive quality. That's why you have your favorite actors. That's why you have your favorite performers, is because they ooze some kind of charisma that is so themselves that you want more of it. Like you want
yeah,
to see it, you want to experience it, you appreciate it, and you want to associate with it.
yeah, yeah. And it just so happens that when I turned my viewer count off, my community grew. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know, it's weird. We have some ads coming up shortly, so if
sweet.
while we are away, please take this opportunity to go stretch your legs, grab a bite to
Yeah,
eat or something,
and buy everything.
buy everything. Um,
Buy everything.
and I apologize, folks. I've been sick the last few days, and I found out that last night that I have COVID. So I'm kind of really miserable today, but we're getting through this. I'm enjoying the time that I spend with John today. Um, yeah. So as soon as this is over with, I'm gonna go right back to bed. I apologize for coughing. I apologize if I sound uh, terrible. I guess is the word.
Careful, one more apology, you're gonna sound very Canadian.
Yeah. Well, I usually
Yeah.
am anyway.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much. COVID does suck. So we will be right back in just about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So come back and watch some more of this. We'll see you.
Buy all the
And we are back with Papa J-Dub. Hi, Deliverance. Oh, sorry, excuse me.
poor guy.
Thank you. How did you choose your name?
Well, the thing is, when my parents had me, I didn't have any say in my name,
Right.
strangely enough. They called me Jonathan. So I just Papa J is a nickname that or J Dub is basically, I think it probably belonged to my brother first because his name is Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a camp counselor for many, many, many years, every counselor had to have like a name that wasn't their own, like popcorn, soda,
Mm-hmm.
Doritos. Like those were their names because they weren't allowed. The kids like, and the kids loved it because they wanted to know people's names so badly. So I was like, I can't think of a clever thing, so I'll just call myself J Dub.
Okay.
Knowing it's my name. And then whenever the kids ask, like, "What's a J Dub?" and I was like, when you have a new T-shirt on, and sometimes lint gets trapped in your belly button, like that's a J Dub. So and my gamer tag used to be Papa Smurfs. So then I just shortened that to Papa.
Hi,
And then
Kayla.
when I wanted something a little more mine, because there were a lot of Papas online,
Mm-hmm.
PAPA, then I just added Papa and then J Dub, and I slapped them together. So it's like apple, pineapple,
There you go.
apple pen, pineapple, apple pen.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite part about streaming?
Oh my God. We talked about this, I think in Cheap Stream a little while ago. There's a lot of things. We touched on one of them, which is no one has to give me permission. And this, I think people can understand when I say this, but unless you are a self-employed artist, you don't quite get what this means and why it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that no one has to tell you you have a job today, no one has to give you that permission to work, um, is a huge thing for someone who doesn't have a 9 to 5 schedule, Monday to Friday. This is my sanctuary. This is the place where I get to build my own
Thank you,
community,
Deliverance.
my own brand. Um, and it's completely 100% up to me.
Mm-hmm.
This as an actor doesn't this doesn't exist in our world. Whether you're an actor or a model or a filmmaker or whatever it is you are as an artist, when you're a self-employed artist, this doesn't exist. So that to me was the most attractive thing, first and foremost. That came first. Secondly, as it evolved, the community.
Mm-hmm.
Just having and getting the chance to meet other people from all walks of life who on many ways relate to you, because I think there's a lot of similarities between people who game and people who spend time on Twitch. I think we're all just looking for friendship, for
Hmm.
companionship. I think we're all a little bit lonely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that that tends to be what Twitch caters to,
Hmm.
and I think it's a beautiful thing. So the community for sure. Um, I'm gonna, like you said, I'm gonna be playing games anyway.
Hmm.
So what better way to play games than to be gaming and be productive at the same time? Maybe gaining some esteem because you can be of service to someone who comes to your channel who's having a hard time with whatever it is in their lives, and maybe you don't know what they're going through. Maybe you can offer some voice of sympathy, something,
Yeah.
some kind of food for thought for them. And just again, being of service and having a sense of esteem because of what you're doing can be providing for someone else.
Hmm.
Um, it would be it would be a lie to say that the financial aspect is not important, because it is.
Hmm.
I am a dad. I have a family. I'm an actor. I make a very basic living, and I'm completely okay with that. We've kind of orchestrated our lifestyle around a very modest income, and again, Twitch being your own brand, something that you can grow and do yourself
Oh.
without anyone's permission, is a wonderful way to supplement income to help provide for your family.
Hmm.
And for someone, again, who doesn't have a schedule, it's just a wonderful place of work to be able to show up to and enjoy, because you're surrounded with great friends. You're
Yeah.
surrounded with community. You're surrounded with people who choose to spend time at your channel out of their busy lives and once in a while support financially, which is,
And scare. Yeah.
and make you shit yourself. Yeah. So you spend money on new underpants and but it, honestly, man, it's just, I can't tell you. I mean, it's incredible. It's more than I ever thought it could be. I see the potential of Twitch and the people that I've met who are either supporting or inspiring or just maybe going through stuff, and the value of this platform and then being able to be a part of it has become such a huge reward, a sense of pride, a sense of joy, a sense of companionship. It's incredible.
Hmm. Well, I can say for sure one thing that Twitch has done for me is when I first started doing this, I was just learning from my son the the behind the scenes part of Twitch. What happens when you put your camera here, and my son was teaching me all these things. Well, in the process of learning this, I lose my job of 16 years. And me being the age I am, and all of a sudden I'm disabled, um, I lose my job, and I'm, in a fit of severe depression. Twitch allowed me an outlet that I didn't expect. It, excuse me, it brought me closer to people I would have never met
Yeah.
otherwise, because COVID was around. We weren't allowed to go out to too many places. Um, so Twitch is a introvert's dream. Um, when you can't, or when you can't get out of the house because you're in so much pain that you just want to sit and do nothing.
Yeah.
Twitch allows you your legs. It gets you out there among people, which is one of
Yeah.
my favorite things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Twitch has allowed me to meet so many new great friends. He speaks wise. He does. He nails it. Um, Without Twitch, I don't think there would be a lot of people that can acclimate to today in the society that we are. There are so many people that I've come across that are introverts.
Mhm.
They have no desire to, like we always say, we don't want to go outside because there's too peoply out there.
Yeah.
So, but they can interact with people. online, and Twitch pulled me out of a depression. So I'm grateful for that. Um, so let's switch gears a little bit. What's your strategy for exposure? How do you get your channel and your brand out there?
This I don't. I'm still figuring that one out, to be honest. And this is where I run into a bit of trouble because we are we are all creatures who compare ourselves to one extent or another. I think we get sometimes better with age to put that in perspective, but we're still sensitive creatures, and whether we like it or not, we still compare ourselves to those who are doing better than us,
Mm-hmm.
who are doing worse than us. And when I think about the future on Twitch, and hopefully with luck and with perseverance, maybe this could be uh, a real lifelong journey that I can afford to keep doing because it helps pay the bills and
Mm-hmm.
that I continue to enjoy it. But when I see those who have the level of success that I would love to one day attain, I look at what they're doing. I look at the energy they put into their stream, what they give back to their community, how they engage with their community, the games. They're just on another level. And it's not that I don't have an interest in trying to do some of the things that may bring about more engagement.
Mm-hmm.
I just I don't know if it's me.
Excuse me.
You know, uh, some streamers have this incredible show, for lack of better words, like showmanship.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they're streaming, the show is on. They change their voice, their personality becomes this kind of like game show host, and and I think that engages people in such a tremendous way. Me as an artist, as a person, I just it's not one of my tools. It's not something that I see myself doing or I have an interest in doing. And sometimes I wonder, you know, is part of that the reason why the channel may not be doing as well as I hope it might be doing? All these what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. So the
Mm-hmm.
truth is, I don't know. Um, I don't know how to continue. I just know that I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I once in a while get to meet other incredible, like Alyssa, for example, is literally the reason I know you. Alyssa is the reason I know Swifty. I know Cheebs. I know Miss Britt. I've met Tom,
Mm-hmm.
Mel, Kayla, Fun Size Snack Pack. Um, all these people who have become literally closer to me than a lot of the people in my own community. Um, is all because of Alyssa. Like
Mm-hmm.
she just dropped into one of my streams one day. I was playing Phasmophobia, and through that friendship, I mean, all these other friendships have been gained, and I feel incredibly lucky. And one thing that and I'll be very frank with you. I'll be very very frank with you because I think this is an important conversation. Um, there is a way to, I think, grow your channel by branching out to as many communities as possible and making
Mm-hmm.
it your job to get attention on yourself, to like say hi to everyone, to try and get everyone to like you, just to get that attention on you. I don't I again, kind of like the showmanship, I don't find that interesting. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like being disingenuous. I It's not organic to me, uh, and then I wonder like, oh, is that maybe one of the things that's going to hinder me? Because I don't want to spend full time trying to engage with people that I don't know on Twitch, hoping that one day I can poach everyone's viewers.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have that in me.
Right.
So I've got these people that I've met that I genuinely like spending time with, and I try as much as I can to be there because I know the support they give me, the joy it brings me. It brings me tremendous joy to be able to support others in the same way. I just don't necessarily have the same availability.
Yeah.
So I try to get to my friends' streams. I try to spend as much time as I can, and if I can't spend time, I try and drop a lurk because I know that extra view brings attention to their channel, can help them gain exposure, get them more seen, or put them on the front page of Twitch, the
Mhm.
recommended, blah blah blah. And I just don't know. I don't know how else to do it. I mean, I'm just a dude trying to have a good time, trying to help support his family and make some friends along the way, and maybe improve other people's lives if I can be of service in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the most important aspects people miss when they're trying to get their channels out there. One of the best things you can do for your own channel is to be in other people's channels
Yeah.
and talking and you know building a relationship with people in other channels
But if
because
it's not genuine, Dad, I mean, that's just going to lead to burnout.
it's true, but you want it to be genuine. You want to be, you want to go into other people's channels, not just to build your own channel, but to help them as well. You want to
Yeah.
you want to interact with people, um, and just going into somebody's channel and just sitting there and watching them is important, but you also want to create a conversation.
Mm.
And in creating that conversation, you build a rapport with not only the content creator, but people in that channel can see how you are as a person. And
Yeah.
then they might, say, hey, well, wonder what this guy's like. So they'll go and see you on your own.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Support the people even by lurking. Support them just by just being there is
Yeah.
fantastic. And that's what happens in my channel a lot. A lot of people come in and they lurk, and I appreciate that because that's
Oh, huge.
it's so important. Yeah.
Hugely.
Hi, Deseviant.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you're right. Alyssa is kind of her her community is so organic. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just she has such it's and she's not on her channel.
No, not at all.
She is relaxed. She's having fun, and her community's having fun with her. And that's just one of the great things about her community is that everybody has fun, and it's
Yeah.
almost all the time.
Yeah.
Hi, crazy guy. Um, what's the scariest game you've ever played?
Um, so this could either be like my favorite horror game or any game that Alyssa can Dixper. Um, but the scariest game for sure so far has been Visage.
Oh,
Visage is as far as I'm concerned, like that is the bar now. Whenever I play a new kind of first person scary psychological game, I'm always referencing Visage when I compare it to something. I'm like, is it the
hi, Liz.
Visage level?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I haven't played it yet. I mean, I played Visage,
You
and
haven't played it yet?
I
Oh man.
I played Visage, and I hated it. Hated that game.
Oh, but it's a good hate.
Yeah, it is. But there's another game out there that I kind of want to play, but then again, I really don't. And it's Summer of
What is it?
'58.
Oh, I played it. Fantastic. The
It's
whole series is great. Locked Up, Summer of '58. There's a few others in that series, but they're all like around 3 to 4 hours long.
hmm
Amazing experience. I don't know if you've ever checked out the
Summer of '58 made me cry.
what is it called? I can't remember it at the moment. Oh, it'll come to me. It'll
Yeah,
come to me after.
yeah. Summer of '58 has been several people's scariest games. But yeah, you're right. Visage, I hated that game. That was I didn't even get through the first chapter.
Oh no. I will say though that one like Visage does get a little bit confusing at times, and you're not exactly sure what you're doing or
hmm
why. Sometimes people had to point me in the right direction, and I was like, okay, I'm just here for the ride. It's
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
yeah. Broken Butterfly is one of my mods, and she's a great emote artist.
Oh yeah.
They purchased Visage for me,
Oh
and
nice.
yeah. So when I played it, I had to have her basically hold my hand through the entire game.
It's so good though. It's so good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go through my list here and see Layers of Fear.
Oh, okay.
Have you played that one? That
Mm-mm.
series?
I have not.
Oh, that's another really goodie. Super scary. Yeah, I played Layers of Fear too. It was free on the Epic Game Store a while back, and that was whew, whew,
It's
that was a goodie.
confusing. Took me like 2 weeks to do it. Yeah, it's yeah. Um, what's the game that you have the most fun playing?
Oh wow. It's hard to say because there's like a nostalgia factor to that question. Like still to this day, I mean, I'm a Nintendo baby.
Mm-hmm.
I will always be a Nintendo baby in my heart. Um, and I mean, my favorite games of all time have always been basically any of the Mario games, Zelda, Metroid, Final Fantasy series, Chrono Trigger. I grew up with those games, so those are still to this day my favorite. In terms of like hours played, Anna and I have my wife and I have we've played through Breath of the Wild like 5 times now.
Oh wow,
Like five, yeah, I think five, maybe six, but maybe just five.
wow.
Uh, and we just I don't know. It's one of those games that you can just there's so much to do, so much to explore, such a big open world. Even though it doesn't really feel like a Zelda game, it's just the tone is Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
It's bright and adventurous and fun and open and I think that would be it. I mean, otherwise it would be the tribes games, which are these like hidden gem games that it had a very small community seemingly. Tribes, it started out as Starseeds Tribes,
Mm-hmm.
and that was Tribes One, and that is the game that made me like an online gamer when I was like 11 years old. And literally, it's a first person shooter. But the characters have jetpacks, and it's capture the flag, and the bases are on opposite ends, and there's projectile weapons, and it's super super high skill ceiling, and I love that. And then Tribes 2 came around, and then that game eventually died out. And then, like I said before, my OG gaming friends from 2010, we all met because of Tribes Ascend, which was the latest installment. Unfortunately, that game, lost support from the developers and
Mm.
then became riddled with hackers because of no more patches and unfortunately died. So that doesn't exist, and I'm waiting for another game to fill that void because nothing has ever come close as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Um, so what's your favorite thing to stream?
Spooky games,
Yeah.
because
Any spook game?
yeah, any because honestly, like I would I would never play them by myself. Like
Yeah.
every single game that I've had a chance to stream are games that I would never play if I was just sitting on my couch or by myself at the computer. So
Right.
like streaming makes me feel like I've got friends by my side so that like it's a shared experience as opposed to me just playing and getting scared by myself. If I was by myself, I would play again. Like I've got South Park,
Mm-hmm.
the games that I'm playing upstairs with my wife right now. We're doing a little Witcher 3. Um, but spooky games, I have so much fun with them. I feel like again, it's such a shared experience kind of game that we're all experiencing the same thing at the same time, and I don't feel so alone. And there's the added benefit that I feel like scary games have this level of engagement that other games don't necessarily
Yeah.
have when you're watching.
Yeah, I can't play the spooks by myself.
Yeah.
There's got to be people around me.
And nowhere like I don't even want to.
Right.
Like I would want to play with other people around me because otherwise I'm just getting scared alone. It's kind of like being in a theater. You're going to a comedy movie or you're going to a horror film. There's an effect that takes place when you are surrounded by other people sharing the same experience at the same time
Mm-hmm.
that makes the experience better than if you were just doing it by yourself.
Yeah, there's times when I will watch a funny movie. Say I watched this movie in the theater, um, and it's somehow in the theater, the funny bits are more so.
Oh yeah, same as stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
You watch stand-up comedy on Netflix, you're getting 10% of the laughs,
Mm-hmm.
1%, and even
Absolutely.
your laugh isn't as big as it would be in the club.
Yeah. It's I don't know. There's something about being there.
Yeah, the communal experience. Yeah, I think we're really lacking that these days too, especially because of COVID.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So do you think you'll be streaming in say 5, 10 years?
fucking hope so, dude. I really, really hope so. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Uh, how do you think it might change within that time?
Um, well, the only reason that I can think, well, there's good reasons that it would change and bad reasons that it would change. The good reasons that I wouldn't be able to would be because that work is so busy that I just don't have the time,
Hmm.
which would be the dream. But I would hopefully always find time to stream because it brings me joy. But if for whatever reason I just become so busy or I become so fortunate to work all the time, then that would have to be put on the back
Yeah,
burner.
yeah,
The flip side of that is that if our financial situation became dire and I was forced to look for work elsewhere and my days were no longer available to stream, then I wouldn't be able to.
yeah, yeah. I've had a few streamer friends that have had that very scenario play out.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
they've gotten to that point where they have to go to work every day and they miss streaming. Um, and I miss them being here. But yeah,
Which is also why I really don't take this platform for granted because I feel so lucky to have the life that I have right now that affords me to be able to do this.
yeah,
And I know that it's not the case for everyone who wish they could be.
yeah, absolutely. Um, are there any streamers or people out there that could come into your channel or raid your channel that would just make you starstruck? Like, are there any people out there that not necessarily that you look up to, but um,
The short answer is not really.
mhm,
Um, I don't spend a lot of time like I only learned who oh god, see I don't even remember his name now. Uh some of the my friends put it this way, my friends whenever they're talking about streamers or internet culture and they reference people's names and I have no idea what they're talking about
yeah,
because I just don't pay enough attention to it. Um I you know and this may seem a little jaded but it's kind of true and I like
hey
being open and
Joanna's
honest about these things even if it sounds weird.
Papa
But
J that would make me starstruck.
no, come on. Um I there like really big raids used to really excite me because it was an opportunity for people to see who you were, maybe gain some new followers. Um but I don't know, over time like it's how do I say this without sounding like a complete ass? I really just care about the people who stick around.
Yeah,
And then those are the only people that I want to give my time and attention to.
yeah,
So if a rate of 10 come in, or a rate of 100, or a rate of 1,000, and out of those raids, one or two people come to the channel again and again and again, then I appreciate those people
yeah,
that come by. I don't care who comes, who raids. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I love seeing friends raid me because it's like, oh, they're thinking about me. That
yeah.
feels great. Or they chose to come to my channel. Like
Right.
that feels great. Like thank you. Like I really appreciate that, especially coming from you. But not. I mean, I'm just so not with it with internet culture. I mean, if like some producers or writers or directors had a Twitch channel and they decided to raid my channel, then I'd be like, holy shit. Oh, welcome to my channel. I'm totally employable. What you want to see me do accents? You want to see
Yeah.
me do I can learn lines, I can do these moves, but I'm not like I just otherwise I
Thank
just
you,
don't
Tony.
care. I don't really care that much. It doesn't yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
All right,
Yeah.
we've got an ad playing. We'll be right back about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Come back and join us for more. And we are back. J-
Welcome
back.
back.
Joannis, I don't know why the follow button wouldn't work.
Oh, Johan. What's up, Johan?
I don't know why that wouldn't work. That's odd. Two more questions. How do you define success when it comes to streaming?
Uh, ooh, just in respect to streaming, um, yeah, we'd have to define what success means. Um,
Oh, excuse me.
I guess that's the point, is to keep it open ended and see how I interpret that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're doing, you little cheeky. Um, for me, success on Twitch looks like this: that when I show up, I have a good time, that I make it a place for others to feel heard, safe, that they have a good time, that there are people hanging out in chat. Um, fuck, this is a hard question on Twitch. Success on Twitch.
I think you're pretty much on the right track. Is as long as you have a good time and your community has a good time.
Well, yeah, but I want to make sure it's the full truth, because like we said before, there is, like, to ignore the financial aspect would be the half truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to say that that doesn't play a factor would be holding back some truth.
Okay.
So I would say everything that I just said, and being able to afford to keep doing what I can do because of the support that is generated through Twitch as
Yeah.
well.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
very well put. Yeah. The final question is, where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me right here, right now. Yeah, I mean, I try not to spend too much time on social media. I use Instagram a lot. I'd say primarily, more than anything. Twitter, I don't touch too much anymore.
Mhm.
But you can find me on Instagram just using my name, Jonathan Dubsky. On Twitch, PapaJDub. Um, on Discord as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fairly accessible person. I don't know what to say. But
That's good.
yeah.
Okay. Uh, lightning round questions. This or that questions.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Texting or talking?
Talk.
Favorite day of the week?
Oh my God, lightning round. Fuck, Monday.
Sweet or sour?
Sour. Yeah.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
If you had a superpower, what would you want it to be?
Flying.
Uh, morning person or night owl?
Morning. Dead at night.
What's your favorite season?
Summer.
We don't. We get that almost 9 months out of the year down here.
I know. We get winter about 13 months out of 12. It
Yeah.
sucks. I want to be in LA so bad.
Mild or spicy?
Spicy. So much spicy.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Ooh, depends on the day. I would say either almond pistachio or like a peanut butter fudge.
Okay. Kindle or real book?
Real book.
All right. And the last thing is say something positive about yourself.
Oh my gosh. That's a lightning round question?
That's a lightning round question.
Something positive about yourself? I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Okay.
Is that a positive thing?
Can be.
Or is that just a comment?
Well, that just means you're sensitive, and that's
so sensitive.
Yeah, that's a positive thing.
Like I feel things too much. For anyone who's been to my streams, you know that to be true.
Mhm.
I feel things deeply and intensely,
Yeah.
and I think that's one of the reasons I do what I do.
Yeah, and that is a positive thing. It's people look at that as a kind of a negative, but I don't think so. I mean, um, when you're sensitive, you are open to feeling other people's issues. You can
Exactly.
you're relatable.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
I'm like such an empath. It hurts.
Hmm.
Like I feel what other people feel, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm just drawn to acting is because it's so easy for me to access the emotions that are taking place in any situation. They're just
Yeah.
available. I feel.
Yeah.
You need
Okay.
to get some rest, sir.
I
Young
do.
man.
And
Okay.
as soon as we're done here, my butt's going right back to bed.
Thank you for following.
Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that so much. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask PapaJDub if he would pick somebody for us to raid.
Sure. Yeah,
And
let me get Twitch open.
yeah, and put that name in the chat so that I can copy and paste it.
Oh, I know where we can go raid. Let me get this and copy it.
Just
Okay.
get over it. Um, thank you, Tony. Yeah, I'll get
Remember?
over it.
There you go.
Who is it?
Katie. Katie and the Dominion, who's playing some Warframe right now.
Oh, it didn't show it.
Oh, is it maybe because I posted a link? Yeah, I'll just
Yeah,
type out the
yeah,
name.
yeah. Just type out the name. Sorry.
Kae. Yeah. And
But while we're doing that, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and PapaJDub.
yeah, thank you.
I
Thank you for
love
having me.
doing these. These are part of my favorite thing to do, other than playing games. Um,
Podcasts are great.
yeah, I love these.
It's like the main type of consumption we do in this household now.
All right, we're gonna go raid Katie. Uh, John, thank you for hanging out with me today. Thank you for
Thank you
being
for the
on the
invitation.
show.
Sorry you weren't feeling better for this.
No,
I couldn't tell that you were low energy or sick or anything.
Thank
You
you.
had said something.
I appreciate that. I felt really low energy today. But okay, the raid message will pop up here shortly. Please copy and paste that into the raid when we get there. This is so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. We will be back Thursday with Melancholy Blues. That is December the 8th, and she will be on at 1 p.m. Central Time. So please come and join us for that. Yeah, we're going to have Melancholy Blues. And so, yeah, and also after the 18th of December, I'm going to be taking a 3-week hiatus on the podcast. So, hope you miss me. We're going to go raid Katie. Thank you all again for hanging out with us. John, again,
Yeah, thank you,
appreciate you being here. We'll see
My
you guys
pleasure, dude.
later.
Thanks for asking me.
Smile.
And where's the
Though
raid message?
your
There it is.
heart is aching, smile.
Okay, friends, thank you for being here.
Though it's
Yeah.
breaking.